Hi everyone, welcome to the Season 11 Orianna Guide. In this video, we'll talk about what Orianna excels at, what are her consistent runes, item builds, matchups, as well as some laning concepts, and some tips and tricks for you to go by. I'm Coach Karai, and if you're looking to pick up the OG Control Mage, you've come to the right place. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Orianna is the OG when it comes to competitive mid lane. She is by far the most versatile and well-balanced control mage in the game, offering a good balance of zoning, wave clear, dueling, and team fighting prowess. Orianna excels greatly in controlling tight corners and forcing the enemy to respect her ball. She's great for controlling neutral objectives as well as defending ally towers. In addition to that, she deals a respectable amount of AoE damage, usually from a safe distance as well. Her ultimate, Command Shockwave, can often change the tide of an ongoing teamfight when used masterfully. However, playing Orianna without mindfulness can often lead you to run out of mana at a ridiculous rate. Due to her having no natural dashes but instead having long range abilities, it's crucial to understand good spacing to fully utilize her. Lastly, a unique trait to Orianna, you must always keep track of where your ball is, especially in teamfights where things can get hectic quickly and you could easily lose track of your ball, which could result in you missing your ultimate. Speaking of the ball, let's move on to her abilities. Unique to her, she is always accompanied by her ball, which she commands to perform her abilities. Her passive, Clockwork Lineup, allows her basic attacks to deal additional magic damage, which stacks up to 2 times on the same target. Command Attack allows her to direct her ball to a designated area, dealing full damage to the first enemy hit and reduce damage to additional enemies up to a cap. You want to max this ability first so you can use it to reposition your ball more often when needed. Command Dissonance emits a pulse around the ball, dealing magic damage to enemies hit by the pulse and leaving an electrical field. When Orianna and allies pass through the field, they gain bonus movement speed while enemies are slowed by it instead. Do note, this can be used to slow and speed up enemy minions and ally minions respectively as well. You want to max this out second, as it acts as your burst of damage during skirmishes and teamfights. Command Protect flies the ball towards a targeted ally or herself, damaging enemies who are caught in the flight path and providing the target a shield upon arrival. Anyone with the ball attached will receive bonus resistances as well. You want to max this out only when you have to, as it is more important to max out your other abilities first for damage. Her ultimate, Command Shockwave, commands her ball to unleash a shockwave around itself, dealing magic damage to enemies caught and pulling them towards the ball. Do note, you should use this not only for its AoE burst of damage to turn the tides of a teamfight, but also to misposition the enemy, flinging them closer to your allies. Put a point in this whenever you're allowed to. For runes, ideally you want to run Phase Rush as your keystone due to the fact that she has no reliable escapes aside from a W. You want to get Mana Flow Ban for mana sustenance, Transcendence for the ability haste to use your Q more often, Scorch or Gathering Storm depending on your preference, and for secondary runes, get free boots cause they're free, and biscuits for additional mana sustain. Stat chart wise, you want to get attack speed, adaptive force, and depending on the matchups, either armor or magic resist. You may opt to go for Airy or Comet, as they aren't too bad of a keystone to get on Orianna as well. As always, keystone and runes generally fall under the preference of the player, and you should always take what you feel most comfortable with. I truly believe that ever since they updated Presence of Mind to be a mini blue buff, it's not a bad option to take as a secondary page. This is all due to the fact that it's not that difficult to hit your Q onto the enemy consistently, as well as the fact that Orianna benefits a lot from being able to refill her mana, as she does run out of it when spamming abilities. For items, you want to start either Doran's Ring as a standard, or Corrupting Pot when you're against a melee matchup or need to sustain. Tear could be an optional buy early on when you're opting to go for Seraph's Embrace, but never as a starter item as it is too greedy of an option. Your first base would always be either Lost Chapter or Seeker's Arm Guard against AD matchups. For your first tree, I believe going for Luden's Tempest would be your ideal mythic item, then either Cosmic Drive or an optional item, and fit in a Rabadon Staff Cap as soon as you can. Boots wise, go for Sorcerer's Shoes for that extra 18 magic penetration. The rest really depends on the game and what it needs. Looking at the optionals, the more uncommon ones are Horizon Focus and Demonic Embrace. I believe Horizon Focus isn't a terrible buy, as it procs fairly easily with an almost max range command attack or with your ultimate. It's good especially when you're forced to play from a distance against champions that want to get close to you. On the other hand, Demonic Embrace works wonderfully when the enemy has a bunch of bruisers or tanks. The stat it provides are great with Orianna, further enhancing her bonus resistances from the passive of Command Protect, as resistances benefit from having increased health. On the topic of matchups, I don't think Orianna has any terrible matchups, but she does have matchups which are harder to learn. Orianna's kit, paired up with certain runes and keystones, make her so versatile that she, as a champion, would rarely suffer solely from matchups. I truly believe the reason why she has been so relevant in all the seasons is due to this fact. Here are some honorable mentions that you might have some trouble playing against on your first few tries, but trust me, they get easier as you play against them more and more. Let's talk about some simple laning concepts. One thing I notice about some Orianna players is that they get too impatient with their Q, use it, and miss, resulting in them wasting mana and eventually forcing them into a terrible recall timing. Your Q and W are your bread and butter for trading, but it's better to always use it at the right time rather than spamming it whenever it's off cooldown and wasting mana. Remember, hit them where it counts. You really want to beg for your blue buff from your jungler, and trust me, you'll thank me for this later. Once you're almost level 6, about 1 or 2 minions away, look to use command attack to secure a level 6 minion, the one that you'll get level 6 with, as well as to harass the enemy at the same time. That way, you'll achieve two things. Get level 6 and also hit the enemy with your ball, which can often result in a surprise command shockwave kill onto the opposing laner. Finally, let's talk about some tips and tricks with Orianna. First off, and most importantly, is that you need to know how to hide your ball within terrain. This allows you to catch your enemies off guard, hitting them with a command shockwave where they won't see it coming. Secondly, with Phase Rush, the quickest way to proc it is through this one combo, Q into W into E. You want to make sure the return on your E hits the enemy, otherwise Phase Rush will not activate. In comparison with QWAA, this combo allows you to continuously move without any downtime. Lastly, not necessarily a trick but a good tip to keep in mind while playing Orianna is that your ball comes back to you faster if you use Command Protect instead of manually sending it back towards you with Command Attack. In conclusion, if you're looking for a utility mage that provides a good amount of damage, zoning potential, shield and speed buffs for your teammates, as well as having decent matchups across the board, Orianna is your go-to champion to pick up. And just like that, we're done with the whole Orianna guide. I know it only took like a short 8 minutes, though it was a bit boring and whatnot, but again, my guides are pretty simple and I like to keep it that way. I just want to provide some good insight for anyone who's trying to pick up Orianna, trying to learn this champion, providing them some good tips and tricks, some beginner tips and trick, basic fundamentals. You know, it's always good to be able to pick up a champion, but it's even better if you can look for guides or videos that allow you to learn the champion without any downtime. And I kind of hope this is one of those videos that I'm able to do so to provide good enough insight for you to actually understand the champion itself. Again, as always, some people might find this guide relevant, some people might find this guide very insightful. Uh, my job is just to make sure people who find this guide understand a champion, at least the very core fundamentals of it. And if I can achieve that, I'm gonna be very happy. And if you can tell, I'm kind of sick right here. Um, but there's nothing to worry about. I'm getting better as time goes by. But anyways, I really appreciate for people who made it to the end actually of this whole video, of this whole guide, and I like to thank you personally. It really keeps me going, honestly. So anyways, I don't want to keep you guys down here for too long. uh, I'll try to put up a video once a week here, and yeah, without further ado, I will see you guys on the next video. Also, stay healthy guys, alright, take care of yourselves. See you guys next time. Bye.